In this video, I'll first explain why RAM is important, and you will be able to tell how much RAM do you need by understanding basic data measurement. You are safe to skip the first part by simply knowing that you can think of RAM as your computer's short-term memory. When you're multitasking, leaving the program running in the background, RAM keeps track of where you left off, so you can switch back to it without waiting for it to load again. This goes for browsers tabs as well, which is great for those who will leave 500 Pinterest windows open at once. RAM, short for random access memory, is an essential part of any computer. RAM is stored on the motherboard in modules that are called DIMMs. DIMM stands for Dual Inline Memory Module. DIMM is a dual inline memory module because it has two independent rows of these pins, one on each side. A DIMM memory module has either 168, 184, 240, or 288 pins, and the DIMMs is installed on the motherboard in the memory slots. A motherboard can have a various number of memory slots. The average motherboard will have between 2 and 4 of them. In order for data or program to run the computer, it needs to be loaded into RAM first. So the data or program is first stored in hard drive, then from the hard drive, it's loaded to RAM. And once it's loaded to RAM, the CPU now can have access to the data or run the program. Now a lot of the times, if the memory is too low, it might not be able to hold all the data that the CPU needs. And when this happens, then some of the data has to be kept on the slow hard drive to compensate for the low memory. So instead of the data going from RAM to CPU, it has to do extra work going back to the hard drive. And when this happens, it slows down your computer. So to solve this problem, all you need to do is increase the amount of the RAM on the computer. By increasing the memory, more data can be loaded into the faster RAM without the need of constantly accessing the slower hard drive. And the result is a faster performing computer. Digital storage uses binary system where everything is saved as ones and zeros. The word they use to describe these ones and zeros is a bit, short for binary digit, and it is the smallest unit of data in a computer. Numbers of bits we have determine how much data we can store. The next term, you take 8 bits and put them together, that's called a byte. You can think of byte as the amount of space required to store a single letter or a symbol in a text document. If you take 1024 bytes, that's called a kilobyte. Similar to how a kilogram is 1,000 grams, often abbreviated as KB or K, 1 kilobyte is enough space to hold about a third of a page of text. Back in the 1970s and early 1980s, the 5¼ floppy disk was a popular storage medium. It could hold 360 kilobytes of information. When you have 1,000 kilobytes, it is called a megabyte, abbreviated as MB. 1 megabyte is enough space to hold about 1 book, 1 photo, or 1 minute of music. The 3½ floppy disk introduced in the 1980s can hold 1.4 megabytes of data. 1,000 megabytes is called a gigabyte, abbreviated as GB. 1 gigabyte is enough space to hold about 1,000 books, or 1,000 photos, or 16 hours of music. By the mid-1990s, a 1 gigabyte hard drive could be purchased for a couple of $100s. Nowadays, 1 gigabyte is considered a very little storage. 1,000 gigabytes is called a terabyte, abbreviated as TB. 1 terabyte is enough space to hold 1,000,000 books, which is around 80 school libraries, or 1,000,000 photos, or 2 years of continuous music. Nowadays, a terabyte storage is readily available on a hard drive, a solid-state drive, or even micro SD card. That's enough to know for everyday usage. Thanks for the 2 minutes watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.
I do not like your attitude.
Oh my God. I was just about to make a video about what a great cyclist you are. This is the first time I've been cycling with somebody from the KAWO team who can actually keep up. Like normally I'm just like waiting for ages. Good work, Dong Dong.